Hi, it's Amanda here, Creative Gardener. I thought I'd give you an update as to where I am at the moment. I'm in the middle of trying to make the most of coming to the end of the rainy season and getting some plants in that I've had um, that have just been growing. So I've allowed them to grow where they are, or in pots, or in the tyres. And some of them I need to move because they're actually trees. I've got some papaya trees and some, they're not called lead trees. I can't remember what their name is, but anyway, and show you just a quick update, generally of the garden, I guess, just so that you can see where it is at the moment. It's um, hard at times, I must admit that, but it is very rewarding. I love it out here, but physically it is very tiring. And again, I have to keep reminding myself how proud I am, just single-handedly, just transforming this space. And what you will be able to see, what you're seeing, is a discipline of spending time each day doing something. So if you are transforming your space, however big it is, on an extremely non-existent budget, well, it's a non-existent budget now. I have brought a couple of things like some gloves, much needed gloves. I was using the plastic ones, and it was just like I'm going through them every day, and that's actually for my studio use, for using with clay. So I'm glad I just invested in these. I invested in a couple of pairs because of the way that they're designed. Is it's got fabric to allow your hands to breathe, which is great, but when you're dealing with wet stuff, obviously it gets wet. So I brought a second pair just so that I can rotate between the two. Anyway, so let's get on, and I'll show you how everything's looking. Okay, so I'm showing you over there at the moment because we've just had the grass cut. It was what's the day? So 2 days ago we had the grass cut, and what I normally do is allow a day for it to dry out and then collect it, but it's been raining every day. So what I've done is put it in the mounds and then we'll collect it afterwards. What I've noticed, there's some sort of spores in areas of the ground, so I want it to see if I can dry out the grass as much as possible, because I don't want to spread anything in other places, especially where I'm growing food. The main use for the grass at this particular time that I've cut is for my makeshift paths, and let's just go over there now. So what I've been doing, or here, what I've been doing is this would normally all be grown up with weeds. So what I did was layer some cardboard, and it's just the milk carton boxes. I layer them like that. I put that there because that's quite a deep spot. And so I'm going to layer this whole area with cardboard and then put the grass down so that it keeps the weeds clear. The other thing I did, so I didn't just put the cardboard down on the grass that was there, the weeds. I made sure I picked out as much of the roots as possible. And what you can see is what I didn't pick out. Like these are low growing, so I'm not really too fussed about that, but it's the grass that kind of spreads in clumps. So like this particular one, you have to make sure you have to make sure I haven't even taken it out by the roots, so that's more than likely to grow. And these are vines which will grow, so you take them out. The younger you take them out, the better. It's so much easier. So this is as a result of laying down the cardboard and laying down the last time we had our grass cut, which was about a month ago. So I'm actually pleased that the grass hasn't grown back, and it's only then just around the edges that I have to, it's just low maintenance then. Each time you're out, you just, pick as you go. And again, if you get it out by the roots, it means that it's not going to come back. The other thing I had to be mindful of is how quickly I do lay down this grass, because obviously this grass comes with its seeds. So that was the whole purpose of allowing it to dry out in place so that you could kill off the seeds. So I again just have to be mindful. But this was as opposed to not being able to purchase the wood chips, which I would have laid wood chips down. This is a budget method. You've got cardboard, you're always getting cardboard, or you can go to your supermarket and pick up, especially like here we've got Price Smart. In some places you've got Costco in UK, in the States as well, and other places where they have stacks of cardboard. And I also use the what they layer in between, say, tins. So there's like a flat sheet of cardboard. So you can get those. I mean, they would just recycle them, so they don't mind you taking them away. And I've done that on several occasions. And I'm thinking that I'm going to have to pay my supermarket again another trip, because I've got loads of areas. So the guy that cut our grass, he's cut these, and that's what I was waiting for. These are going to grow back really quickly, so I have to lay down the cardboard. So that's what I've been doing, and all of these areas here that he's cut, I've got to lay down the cardboard. And up here I've been making sure I'm cutting out the clumps. So here I'm going to be coming round with my other tool and cutting around the clumps. So the other thing that I've been doing is tending to other areas. There's several different paths that I've got to do. So these rocks are going to be lining some of the paths. I want to take these ones around the front because I'm doing a rock garden here. And again, so this is another area that would normally get really heavily filled with grass. There is some growing back, but it's growing back really slow. And again, they're little bits so that I can just literally pick them out, and then that'll be sorted. And I'm really pleased with this area, because every time for the last, say, 8 months, he would have to cut this particular path. And it was just so kind of, it was not annoying, annoying that I couldn't get the path going. And literally all it took was, as I said, putting down the cardboard and then layering the grass along here. So now I've got my path. So the next step with the path would be to put down some stepping stones. So that's we're due next week to get the mahogany tree cut back, and there's a big piece of trunk that I'm hoping to get cut into pieces and provide stepping stones. So that's, some of the things that you will have to make some investment. When I say on a non-existent budget, it basically is because I'm not buying any plants, not buying any more plants. And I have, oh, look at that. Oh no, I thought it was one of those big bees. So here's another path. So just making use of what is in the garden. So all those stones that are making this path came from here, when it was cultivated. And then when it rained and washed away the earth, these were all left. And so it's just like, what can you do with it? You have to make the most of what you've got. And I'm sure where you are, you'd be able to do the same. So what you can see is the next project, and I'm just doing it as I go along. So I want to create a series of circles and that feeling of spiral. So here's going to be a little circle, and I'm going to grow something, but then incorporating the paths. So I'm yet to decide how to work this particular area here. I want it to go round. This is the mango tree, so it's got to go around the mango tree, and there's a natural kind of path. This is where I normally walk, so the grass doesn't really grow very well along here, but here I want to get something done here, do something with it. So yeah, let's see, what have I done since the last update? I've created a moringa patch. So this is the moringa. In this particular area, I'm going to have sweet sop trees growing, and then you follow the path round. It's kind of uneven, but that doesn't matter. I'm going to smooth it out, and then with the stepping stones, it'd be great. We've got some nice shade going on along here as well. You can see a snail. I'm going to have to move, get rid of. You have to get rid of them. They lay about 50 eggs at a time, and they just cause so much devastation. Okay, so what have we got here? Yes. So we've got a path here leading to these trees. This particular tree I'm going to cut down. This is the river tamarind tree. I haven't yet decided whether I'm going to keep these. It's still providing shade, but I don't know. I don't think the moringa doesn't necessarily need shade. And then what I don't want is the ones that are growing here to be obstructed. So they'll probably all come down, but just for now, I'm keeping them just to provide some shielding for the banana trees. And we've got some banana updates. See, my cassava's growing quite well. So these are the papayas. These are the ones that I thought was going to die. That one already has been mangled by the slugs and the snails, and that's the damage that they do. So there's one particular one just there that I have to get rid of, and I just have to keep checking. The slugs come out at night, and there's a one over there, tree over there that they mashed up, and I've got some smaller ones growing here that I'm hoping will produce fruit. I'm lucky that the 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7 trees I've got here of the papaya, they're all female, so they're all going to produce. So I've got a path just going around here. Let's take it, because it's going to show us one side of the banana tree. And then what I want to do here is just kind of flatten it slightly, so you've got the path, and then on the bank grow food. So what I thought I would do is apply some stakes along here. So I've got the path, I'm walking on the path, but here, this is where there's going to be fruit trees growing. And similar to this idea, I thought if I put the stakes in and then layer it, put some stones and then soil and layer it with compostable material, then the plants will grow adequately and it won't run off. So it's providing like a river dam, but that's the idea I came up with. And then as we go around here, what I want to be able to do is walk around here. So I've got to do the same thing. There's going to be a path around here. And look, we've got some bananas growing. So this is the second tree to produce bananas, and I'm really pleased. I think it probably needs some more water, because I guess in the fruiting stage, they require a lot more water. It's got a lot of pups around it. These ones are going to be the next to produce bananas, and I've tried to move some of the pups, the smaller ones, and I've planted them further down the slope. And so then let's see, so that's the other side of the path. See, I'm just lining it with stones. That's what I've got, so I'm going to use them. And again, this, I'm going to layer down some of the grass so that the grass doesn't grow, remove the rocks and utilize the rocks and the stones in other places. So I come here and then I want to do a similar thing. So I haven't yet decided which bit is going to be the path and which bit is going to be what I'm going to grow on. I want to make this bit here the path, but then it's like that was the natural path, so I'm not sure. And I wanted to put some seat in here. So the Mexican sunflower is doing its job in terms of providing cover. I just need it to be a bit more dense so that you actually can't see through it if you're behind it. And we come back here. My bird of paradise is growing well. And this area again needs cutting back. I cut it back and it grows back. And so I've got a mango tree here. I've got 3 moringa trees back here. And the bird of paradise seems to be climbing up the bank. It's can be an invasive plant, so wherever you don't want it to grow, you should really contain it some way by putting some plastic sheet in. And I've got some squash as well. I tried to create a trellis with this metal thing that I found near the house, or under the house really. So all of this, there's loads of things to cut back, and so we'll start. Let me just pick that up, what that's doing here. Okay, that's for a project. So at the moment I'm cutting back the scarvola. It's grown really big. I had 1 cut in, and I've now had many plantlets that have come from it. So I'm going to, this is the last thing I'll probably talk about. What I've done is taken some cuttings. See, Cole is just relaxing in the shade. We're going to be cutting this back. I think I'll probably cut it back a third because it blocks out some of the light. And then I'll be utilising the leaves, the branches, the wood. It's very strong. It's used in furniture. So I should be able to use it around the garden. And so, as I say, I've cut the scarvola. And what I'm going to do on this particular slope, while I've got some shade, is plant the scarvola along here. Because what eventually I want to do is widen this area. And Cole will be able to run all the way on this side, not on that side. But he'll be able to run all the way around the house. And obviously there'll be fencing. I'm growing a fence at the moment. So I'm not sure how long that's going to take. We'll have to see. I guess it depends on the amount of rain that we get for them to be established, because they were taken from seeds. I grew them from seeds, and they grew quite well to begin with, and then I transplanted them, and they're kind of struggling a little bit.